Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Above the Sky, Season 4, Episode 6. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day just to hop on this podcast with us. My name is Leon Sky, and I have a really dope special guest with me. He is a singer-songwriter. He's a singer-songwriter. He's also a producer. He also knows how to play piano pretty good, like on some Stevie Wonder, I feel like. Now he's really dope with the keys, man. He's really dope with the keys. And when it comes to his artistry and when it comes to his work, he takes it very, very seriously, and he takes his time with it, which I love because I truly love artists when they just focus on the creative aspect of it and just focus on the quality instead of the quantity, and I feel like you're a full definition of that. So, but with that being said, I believe that's enough at my end. I'm gonna have him I'm gonna have him introduce himself and then we get started with the interview questions. And yeah.
It's Current. Otherwise, my name is Cam. My artist name is Current. As he said, singer, songwriter, producer. But first of all, keyboard player. I play the keyboard, and I've been making music for a year or some change, and I'm still learning, still trying to find out what I'm good at with music. So thank y'all, whoever is listening to me. Thank you for being with me so far. And whoever wants to listen to me eventually, I hope y'all enjoy and enjoy the podcast.
Question number one: how did you get into making music?
Make in terms of making music, I kind of just tripped and fell into it. I a couple years ago, the year before the pandemic started,
Yeah.
I was always playing around with making music. So I have a friend that's a producer, and I went to his house. I was like, "Hey, Kev, he does my vocal engineerings now." And I was like, "Hey, Kev, I want to try to work on music," because people were demanding music from me before I even started making it, which is crazy. So I was like, "Let me at least try it." So I went to his house, to his studio. We finished one song, and I was like, "I bet, let's try to work on some more." And
Yeah.
as soon as that song was done, the pandemic started. So,
Damn.
and early pandemic, no one was talking. It was really like social distancing. Like no one was interacting with anybody. No one was going to each other's houses. So,
Yeah.
because he lives with his parents, so I didn't even want to go over there because he lives with his, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything. So we finished the one song, and then the pandemic started, and there was this year and a half gap where I just had that song in my vault and nothing to do with it. Kind of just
Right.
release a song and just like, all right, that's all I got, you know.
Okay.
And then I would say it was 2021. My grandma passed away in February, and I remember being at her funeral. And
Yeah.
and I think especially when people pass away, you kind of always question your mortality and just like where you're going with life and stuff.
No, of
So when she
course.
passed away, I was just like, I got to do something. I got to get something going. So when she passed away, that's when I decided to release the song.
Yeah.
That March, I released a song on my mom's birthday. It was the Found You interlude. It's I think it's a lot of people's favorite songs currently, and it hurts because it's the first song that I released. So basically, every other song after that it doesn't matter because a lot of people love that song. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I kind of got really into it. I recorded the first one at my friend's house, and then eventually released it. And then I knew people would want more, and I ended up buying a mic. I bought an interface. I bought the XLR wires. I bought a laptop. All this from my hazard pay from COVID and this stimulus check. So did all that, brought all that type of stuff, and then yeah, haven't looked back since. I regret it because now no one's everybody's expecting music all the time. I'm joking. I love making it, but no one told me that like once you release one song, people want more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I started making music with that one song, and then I waited a couple months to get my gear together. Had to learn how to record,
Yeah.
and even beats. I bought like a beat pack from someone online, so I
Okay.
could use those beats and stuff. And yeah, that's how I got into making it. Yeah,
That's so dope. So it's like, well, it's 2022 now. So that happened like around during like the pandemic, like 2020, I'm guessing, right? So
yeah.
like, so really just a span of 2 years, like
Mm.
you've done like, I don't want you've done a lot. No, you've done a lot because you got you made your that one song that you kind of like kept closed for a little bit just because you wasn't sure what to do
Yeah,
with it. And
I made it
then
the end of 2019,
yeah,
and the pandemic, and then didn't release it till mid 2021.
Yeah.
That song was I had it for a very long time. So
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, it's just cool because it's just like everything. It feels like when it comes to certain things like that, like certain things like have certain thing happens like has to happen for a reason just to like
absolutely.
get things going, you know? And it's just like so like when you said I just want to get it back to where you said like so because so even before you were even making music, people were still wanting music from you even before you even started. So like is it because you were singing before or like
It was probably because I used to post more singing and like
okay.
piano playing videos. That's the part I didn't get because people were just like, "Oh, where's the album?" And I was like, I never once said I was releasing an album. Like not even a single. Like I was just like, I never said I was releasing an album. And I think yeah. So as soon as I released the first song, they were like, "Oh, bet we're getting an album," which I still haven't released because I'm not making an album. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's one of those things that I didn't no, people again, you release one song, people want more. That it
Yeah.
seems so easy to understand, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, at the time when I released the first song, I was just like, all right, I'm good, and everybody's wanting more. So,
Yeah. Nah,
so,
nah, that's how you know you're good, honestly.
I sure, I hope it means that.
That's cool. That's so cool. Nah, man, you definitely have that unique sound, and like just even it's not even just like
Mhm.
the like it's not even just like the voice because obviously the voice is like to me is like
Yeah,
very like an angelic kind of like thing to listen to, but like even just like the production because like even though like the like product like that one song that you just recently just like off of your recent project Motions, right?
yeah, yeah. There's three
I,
songs in there. Yeah,
yeah, the I forgot what the second song is called off that
Rocket.
track, but it was like it was a dancing kind of feel like and I believe you played it to me
Yeah,
and
you
like
did.
that bass was crazy, bro. I love it. Like it's just like you gather all different type of emotions with it, and it's like even though it's not like a crazy kind of like transformation with the beat, it,
Yeah,
it is a crazy transformation when it comes to the emotions that you put within your own sound. So it makes it unique. Question number two: what do you enjoy most about just being just an artist in general?
I enjoy most. Dude, just an artist. I've been a musician for most of my life,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
artist, it's just like I enjoy the it's the compliments that you don't expect because I think as an artist we have people that we know that are always going to reshare our stuff that we know that's always going to say something, but
right,
it's the ones where last week I went to a brunch with one of my friends. It was her birthday, and
yeah,
I had someone there someone I met there that I haven't talked to in a while. And we talked after the brunch, we talked for a little bit. He was like, "Yo, bro, I've been keeping up with your music. You sound so great. You have such a different sound." That's my favorite part. It's not the ones that are loud about supporting you. It's the ones that you don't expect to support you.
just
And then when you
yeah,
see them, they're like, "Oh, I've actually been keeping up with you." We post on social media all the time. And I think we forget how many people really be watching us, you know? And so, of course, we get the shares and the likes, but it's the ones that don't do all the sharing and just watch it. Those are the quote unquote fans. They're still my friends, you know. Those are the quote unquote fans that like that I really like appreciate because like
yeah,
you really have no clue. Like you have no clue who's like really listening to your stuff. So it's those moments
right,
from people you don't expect it from. That's my favorite part because it's really it's bigger than you think it is. Especially there's days. I remember my first song. I saw I could see the stats. I had a lot of plays and stuff. And then by my fourth song I released, it wasn't I didn't get as much plays, I didn't get as many shares, you know, stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's those moments where you're kind of just like, dang, is this song trash? Am I doing good? But it's the moments where people you don't expect to compliment you. When they do that, it's kind of just like, nah, you just got to keep doing your thing, you know, because you have no clue what song is hitting other people in a certain way, you know. And
right.
yeah, that's what I'd say is my favorite part is the unexpected compliments.
Mm. I like that. I like that a lot. Nah, because it's just like you said, like there's you don't know who's really listening or watching or really viewing your work, because it couldn't be anybody in the world. And that's the thing when it comes to like putting your music out. Like, do you use DistroKid? Like, what do you use when you
Yeah,
put your music?
he's good.
DistroKid? Yeah, so same. So like when it comes to like that and like TuneCore and I don't know what else. I know there's more other like websites like that to put your music out in all platforms. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is like I was having a conversation about this with a friend of mine not too long ago, where it was like I will say 20 years ago, maybe less than that or more than that. I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
like back in the day, like we weren't they didn't there was no DistroKid, there was no TuneCore, there was none of that. Like
Nice.
you literally had to go through a record label
Mm-hmm. It's
to
crazy.
like just to get a song out, really. You know what I'm saying? So just like it's a cool thing when it's just like being independent is just like the best shit in the world. Like best shit in the world, honestly, period. I feel like, because like you create your own kind of you create your own public fan base instead of having the label kind of like find those people for you. And
Yeah.
like because at the end, I mean, I can't say too much about being a label because I'm not in the label. So I only know a certain
Yeah. So
like certain extent of like what it's about. But like being independent, like you have the freedom to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like when it comes to like when you put your music out and when you have all those people, those audiences listen to you, not only not knowing what's gonna happen, because one of those people can like it could be someone huge you don't even know that could really like change your life for the better, or
absolutely.
it can just be someone that's been like sticking by with you and say like, yo, they can hear the progress,
Mhm.
from like the artistry, from like how you were at the beginning to seeing how
Mhm.
your art is like 2 or 3 years or 10 years down, how long they're going to be sticking around for. You know what I'm saying? So I 100% agree with that for sure. Question number 3. So who or what are your inspirations that develops the way your music sounds today? And that doesn't mean like artists in general. Like it
Uh,
can be like any type of inspiration that like you receive to make the type of music that you create,
I
basically.
usually some inspiration is such a like a spectrum because like
Yeah.
sometimes days you're kind of just like I got nothing, and then other
Right.
days you'll just be driving. And you're like, oh wait, I just got a melody, and you'll hum it into your voice memos. But it depends. Usually I
Yeah.
try to take, especially my last project, I took an emotion, and I wanted to go through the different ends of that emotion.
Okay.
Sometimes I take experiences from my past, like emotions I felt in my past or what I'm feeling currently, and I'm just like, all right, let me see if I can do it a song. But in terms of like actual like like inspirations, I go there. I've always been singing. I grew up singing in my church choir,
Yeah.
and by when I was like 13, I started playing the keyboard for my church.
Okay.
And I was doing those things separately. And I wasn't. It wasn't until maybe high school. I think this is when the show came out. You know the show like Victorious.
Oh, that's a dope. No,
Yeah,
yeah.
Victorious.
Yeah, that girl's from Zoe 101. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know Leon Thomas the third. The He plays Andre on the show. He's the
Yeah,
guitar
yeah.
piano player.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until I saw him. There was an episode. There's a song. I remember the song completely. It was it was an episode where he was singing and playing the piano. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I saw him do it where I was just like, I could probably do that. Like I could probably sing and play at the same time. And then and that's like I would say like even him as a musician, Leon Thomas the third is very talented. So
Yeah.
he was the first person that really showed me that I can do both at the same time. And
Mm.
then I started listening to John Legend, and I think the John Legend influence is very obvious, and I've been getting I've been getting that since high school. Um, so yeah, those are my three biggest really influences in terms of music is Leon Thomas, John Legend, and to go old school is Nat King Cole.
Oh yeah.
He has a
Oh,
he's one of my biggest influence because he's a baritone and I'm a baritone.
yeah.
Um, his voice is so like smooth. It's very low and he's smooth. He sings very smooth. And in a world full of tenors that I'm in,
Yeah.
it's so refreshing to hear like the baritone sing like John Legend. Givion's a baritone. I can't really name a lot of baritones off rip, but hearing other baritones sing really like influences my sound
Mm.
because that's my register. So yeah, in terms of artists, those are the three. But in terms of this music, lyrically, it's really I like to thrive it off of emotions because to me that's what music is at its core. It's energy, and what
Yeah.
emotion or energy you want to really feel for the day, for the moment, you put on music that matches it. So I
Yeah.
try to just convey whatever emotion I was feeling, and I am feeling, and I put it into the song I was making. So very lengthy answer,
No,
but
that's a perfect answer. No, that's cool. No, I like that you brought up the wow, you just said his name and I forgot about it immediately. But Andre
I
from
can call
Victorious.
yeah.
Yeah. Like he's because I have listened to his music before as well. Because like when I saw him victorious, I'm like, yo, this dude is actually like,
He's an actual musician. Like
nah,
that's
he's really good. Like,
mostly all of them are actual musicians except Victoria Justice, which is crazy. But he's an actual musician. So like it's he's very talented. He's been doing it since he was like 7 years old. Like
because
he's amazing.
I remember like it's funny because like we brought it down to like Nickelodeon shows now, which is dope. But I remember when I think he appeared like he did like a little cameo on iCarly or something,
He
and I
did.
saw
He did.
him play guitar like
Huh?
when so even when I saw that I'm like yo like this is like
Oh, like
he is man it's like mad dope no so I'm glad that you mentioned him and I could definitely understand why you'll get a lot of John Legends like you know like people like do people like do they just say like yo you sound like John Legend or like how does that come about like
it's it comes. It's just I don't know. I've been getting it since high school. So in high school, my voice wasn't as deep as it is now. But
yeah
I think because I covered one of his songs in high school, and I think ever since
uh
then, and now I really stopped singing his song. I don't really perform his songs live no more because of that comparison.
because
But this is just because of that comparison. I still get it, but maybe
yeah
because when I was really learning how to sing, I
yeah
actually took his vowel placements, like the
okay
way he says e, ah, and ooh. I took a lot of those from his music, and now it's in mine. Not necessarily the music I released. I don't think so, but like in a lot of my live performances, that's how I will enunciate it.
oh okay
Yeah, now it's just a part of me. I can't escape it though. No matter what I perform, even if I'm performing at church, I still get it, and I'm just like it's not going anywhere. So.
okay
Mhm.
okay so speaking about church so like you started off in a choir you said like singing in a
Yeah, I
choir
was singing. It wasn't like solo singing any. I was just like
yeah in
everybody
a
else.
group
Yeah, in a group. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's so talented at like the age of like 6 leading songs. Like nah, I was just a part of the group.
so how's that like just being in a choir nah because I've always like
Mm.
I can't sing you know I mean I can sing to a certain extent, my vocals can reach a certain point, but
Yeah.
then once it gets to that point, it goes back to just So like, how is that like just being in a choir, like growing up into
It
a choir?
was it was interesting because I had a really close friend I was with. So, and in a choir, you're supposed to know your notes, like what key,
Yeah,
like tenor, alto, whatever. And I never knew my note. He always did, so I just copied him. So even those years in the choir, I wasn't really progressing as a singer. I was just singing.
yeah,
It wasn't until high school where I started singing by myself where I was just like, oh, I'm kind of decent at this. And yeah, but growing up singing in the choir, it was fun. 'Cause I still love my old school church songs, but I just it really helped me understand the impact of a group.
yeah.
And I wasn't formally taught. I didn't take chorus, band, or orchestra in high school. So in the choir at church is where I really developed my sound, kind of. So
Mm, okay, okay. That's no, I really like that a lot because it's just like I grew up in a church as well.
mm,
Um, I don't think I had a choir like church like I was like a Spanish type of church
yeah,
so it was like it was just a lot of Spanish vibes going on basically. But I can relate to that because since I grew up in a church, I also like played in a church as well when it comes to like worshiping, like in a worship group and whatnot.
yeah, yeah,
Because that's how I started out. Because I guess me and you kind of have a similar kind of like rise when it comes to like starting off in church and then
yeah.
using those like talents that we kind of grew upon with going with like starting out as a church to where we at right now. You
Yeah.
know, um, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So question number 4. So what is your creative process like when it comes to making a song? Now you don't have to give me like the full out details, like because you know that's top secret, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
But like I guess give like a little like a little like just a little taste of like how does that come upon when it comes to your music?
Um, it sometimes honestly the creative process is funny because sometimes I just sit down. I kid you not, Shift, the last song in the project, Shift.
Yeah.
I just press random chords. I was like, I was just like, I need a song. I'm like, I need to
That's
complete this
funny.
project. I was like, and I was just playing around with the packs, and I saw an electric keyboard I've never used before, and I was like, All right, what chords can I use for this? Down, down. Oh, that's pretty. Let's see what I can use here. Sometimes it's just random chords. Other times, one of my songs, I was driving to get my oil changed,
Okay.
and I just got a melody in my head out of nowhere, and I hummed it in my voice memos. I went home to work on it, and I built around that melody. So the process is different. Sometimes I build around an idea, like what I did with motion, and
Yeah.
sometimes I build around a melody, like I did with a lot of my other songs. So it's not consistent. It's not at all. So I don't have a straight answer. It really is. It's crazy sometimes.
No, it's all right. Yeah, because it's a tricky thing to like kind of like go through when it comes to like making the song, because it's like it can the creative process doesn't always have the same kind of routine. Like sometimes the routine ends up changing up a whole, like you don't know like what's gonna like really come out. Like, like sometimes you need to
Yeah,
like listen to a beat and then the lyrics comes, or start the lyrics and then listen to the beat. Or or if you're like, like you yourself, like you make the beat and you also like you do everything pretty much when it comes to
yeah,
like the music. So
absolutely.
like, and I think that's even like since you have the hands on everything, like
Mm,
I think that's why it's like the creative process like takes its time.
absolutely.
So yeah, I
Very,
can
very tough.
understand
Like
that.
I have, as I mentioned with Rise, that song, the basis of the drums is from a different song.
Yeah,
But if you listen to the songs side by side, you can like you can be like, oh, the BPM is the same, but the chords different, the melody is different, everything is different. So part of the creative process is not only just thinking of things myself, it's also
yeah,
just listening to other things and like, oh, I like the
yeah.
way the artist did that because I am still kind of new, and I do like certain sounds. So I sometimes I take what other artists did in terms of like their instruments and like let's see if I can recreate that for a similar vibe. So it really is dependent on the song and stuff.
This is gonna be a cool question to ask. Just because like I like to ask this question to like all the people that I have up on here, like to like when I interview them.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own different type of answer. So question number 5: how do you deal with like writer's block when it appears in your journey of trying to write a song?
Oh, I just give up. I don't. I don't. I just no. I don't force
Straight
anything.
up. All right, next question.
I legit. I did. I legit. I legit don't force anything. I'm like, ah, it's working. All right, it's not. And I for my job, I do overnights. So when I'm
Okay.
writing
Yeah.
lyrics, it's usually at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's usually like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just up doing nothing. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't. I really don't force it. I'm like, I'll get back to this later. But if I know what deadline is coming, I was like, all right, what can I go on? I actually, I have Twitter, and I've had Twitter since like 2012, so I have a lot of tweets. So I actually just scroll on my own Twitter and see if there's anything I've said in the past that's like, oh, for
Yo,
example,
that's so cool.
for example, Rise, right? The song Rise is really a song about two people rising in love or any form of bond, and
Mm,
it goes really it doesn't the idea is really is it doesn't matter what I've been through before, you accept me anyway and we'll rise in it. So the pre chorus starts off, I lost everything this evening. Am I dreaming? That one line, I lost everything this evening, it actually originates from high school, from 2014. uh
wow.
I had a crush in high school, and at the same time I had a really close friend, and at the time I had like a backup crush, whatever, just in case it went wrong. And I literally, long story short, I lost all three of them within like 2 days. Like
Oh
a
shit.
close friend, a girl I liked, and a girl I was gonna like, whatever, all in 3 days, off of some nonsense, right? So that whole weekend, I was just like, yo, I lost everything in an evening. So I was just so I took that emotion I felt in high school and was like, how can I bring it here? And then that's when I came up with and I always laughed at that. I'm like, I lost it all in a day. So that lyric is I lost everything this evening in my dreaming because you handle all my weakness with healing. So it really is, I've lost everything in the past, but you're here and you accept me for that, and you're healing my weakness. So that really is it. Like, if I ever get like, if I can't think of a lyric, I will look at my past and see if I felt that emotion before, because we talk all the time. So sometimes I'm like, maybe if within a conversation I've said something that's worth lyrical attention. So
Yeah.
I use a lot of things I've said and stuff. It's a very interesting process to because I hate trying to say the same thing twice, so I don't like repeating things. So
Same.
I was just like, let's see what I can do. And yeah, that's usually what I do when I come across like writer's block. I look at my past and see if anyone has said anything, if I said anything, if I thought anything. And yeah, I just have fun with it.
Wow.
That's
That's
all before I give up though. And I
oh
so
my god. No, that's very
mm,
wow. Nah, yeah, I just on the unique way of it when it comes to the Twitter. That's the
mm,
first when I heard that. I maybe I should start it. That's pretty dope.
honestly.
But when it comes to like going to certain places in your past that kind of like got you just like in an emotional state of mind in
Yeah.
that certain point, and then you brought it like how I don't know how many years that was, but like years on later.
6 years, like 6 years, not like 8 years. It was 8 years, it's been 8 years. Yeah.
8 years. All right, so best. So like basically almost a decade then. So
Yeah, basically.
almost a decade later, and then you brought that kind of same emotions and like and delivered it into that certain song off your project. So
Yeah.
it's just like that's another gift and a talent right there, because it's like it's kind of like I don't want to say it's difficult,
Yeah.
because like I don't know how many people can be able to have that like same kind of like emotions to bring back from the past to bring
Mm,
it to the present just for a tiny bit, just to like write a song or just to do something, like it could be like even write a movie or something, like just like talking
yeah.
about something that happened like back in elementary school and then make a movie about it like
Absolutely.
20 years later. So it's just like hearing that from your perspective at your end on how you are able to deliver with your own
Mm,
creative process and how you establish it.
yeah.
It's a pretty unique way.
Thank you. I think it just applies in the fact that I'm very sentimental, so I don't let anything go. I don't let anything go. So like I remember everything I felt within like the last 10 years and stuff, and I remember like every detail of like things not working out with like especially with women. So like it's just kind of just me not forgetting things. So it's fun. It's
I,
funny, but
that's
it works.
that's a good thing that you're a musician, man. It's a great thing you're a musician,
Legit.
because you always have something to write
I
about.
got yeah. I got something to write about. I'm just so bad.
Man, that's dope. That's so dope. So your project that recently just dropped
Yeah.
almost a week ago, right? Or has been a week now?
It's been like a week and a half, something like that. Yeah.
A week and a half. All right. So it's titled Motion.
Mm.
So in your own words, in your own perspective, what's like I believe you have described it already, but
Yeah.
throughout the whole three songs in total, like what's the meaning and the message behind those three songs in your own words?
Um. So yeah, the project motion. I to be simple, I wanted to go through the motions of a strong feeling, whether it's love, whether it's a platonic thing with anybody. I just wanted to go through those motions. So the first song of it is called Fall. And that song is a very slow, sweet type of song, and it kind of describes the fall into a person, into an emotion, and it describes you being unsure of that emotion or feeling, and whether you want to do it or not. But it really does this. That song for me, it describes the fall into it, and then in relationships, I feel like after you fall in love with somebody, then you rise into that love. That being the second song is when, all right, the honeymoon phase is kind of gone, all the sweet stuff is kind of gone. Now we're kind of it's getting real, and you at that point you rise with that person. You're saying, okay, this is what we like, this is what we don't like about each other, this is what all of us have to do with each other,
Yeah.
and that process is fun. I guess I've never been in love before, so that process I'm trying to like I talk about things I have no clue about, but like that process of rising with somebody is fun because it's just like wow, it's me and you now, and that was Rise. And Shift is the most personal song for me because I actually wrote it from something I felt before. So Shift being the inevitable change
Hmm.
in that feeling of love, whether you guys break up or for me platonically is when you're cool with somebody and then something just changes completely.
Hmm.
So the idea of Shift was me just trying to question like, hey, no matter what happens between us, if things don't feel the same anymore, if something changes, um, the song is really saying, hey, we're okay, right? We're gonna be okay with that. And those three songs for me is the process of like the fall, the rise, and the eventual shift of that relationship. And I don't know why I wanted to describe that in those three songs. I don't know what made me like, I'm gonna write a 3 song project about the rise, fall, and shift in love. But for me, shift is my favorite because I wrote it from a personal experience. And
Yeah.
it's actually the most emotional song on it on there. And that whole project, I just wanted to be vocal about those emotions because I don't think people ever really describe. People always talk about falling in love, but I don't think people really, and people always talk about the breakup songs, but people don't really talk about the middle of that. We're like, all right, we're here in love. What do we do? Or they don't talk about when things don't feel the same anymore. They always talk about, oh, I'm so hurt, you hurt me, or oh my gosh, I love you so much. So
Yeah.
no one ever really talks about the in between. And I think I just wanted to kind of just dissect that emotion. And I need those 3 songs. I had a fourth song. I had a fourth song. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was called stagnant. Is when things consistently stay like when things. It was the post change. Is
Okay.
when one person in that can't move on and they remain stagnant in that. And
Mm.
each song is named after a type of motion: fall, rise, shift. When things change. So I had some fun with the project and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to describe those emotions.
So it's cool because like you said it yourself, you never been in love, but like you
Yeah,
know, like kind of in your own kind of perspective, in your own vision and imagination, really, on like how those emotions are kind of played out when
yeah,
to like falling in love, to like falling out of love, and being okay that we're out of love
yeah,
and we're just moving into a different direction in our lives, basically,
absolutely.
and
But
then just like telling the story
uh,
just and just yeah, because when I listened to it when it dropped, and the last song specifically, and it's funny that you said you were only hitting random chords because that shit was sounded so beautiful. I'm like, damn, bro, he must have took his time on this.
no, I did not take my time at all. That last song was it was just I never used those instruments before ever, except the only song I've used, the only instruments I used was the snaps, and I think the keyboard that revolves around the whole song goes throughout each ear, and I was like, oh,
Okay,
that's kind of cool. And then it wasn't until the outro of the song, then I got into a familiar range where I played all those chords.
right.
I played the whole outro, so that was actually familiarity. But before that, it was just like, dun, dun. All right, 'cause I don't want to use the same chords and have a lot of songs out, so I try to keep it fresh. So some songs I throw random chords. But yeah, that last song is my favorite. It's a lot of people's favorites. I tried to release songs that had different emotion, so whoever
Right.
listened to it can at least pick up one song. You know what I mean? I didn't want to make a song and a project that was too mellow, where people that wanted an upbeat song couldn't really enjoy. So
Yeah.
that's what Rise was for, and it worked out. It worked out.
Nah, yeah, because you captured all three different type of emotions.
Mhm.
Cliche, which is funny. I mean, like air quotes, my fault. But
Yeah,
you captured all those type of feelings with those 3 songs. You got like the fall side of it, and then you got the rise side of it, and then you got the shift out of it.
mhm.
And talking, emotion, like motion sense. So
Yeah,
it's just like you captured all the feelings, and then like so like when the audience like listen to it, like you said, they can really relate on which one they can relate with, basically. So since you did brought up that first song, will we get a bonus track?
absolutely not. Absolutely, it's funny because I was actually rapping. I was actually rapping on it. Like
Oh, word.
I
Okay.
finished I finished writing it. I recorded it. I was like, this isn't my style. I'll definitely send it to you just to be fun. But I was
I
like,
would
this
love
is
to
not,
hear that.
it's not my style at all. So I was just like, nah, I didn't want to. I just didn't want to release it. So
Were you singing and rapping or just like straight rapping?
I was doing what Drake does. I was rapping.
Ah,
I was rapping the hook. I was rapping the chord. I was rapping the verse, singing the hook. But yeah, it was just not my style. So
if I say this, if I say it sounds good, well,
I'm still not releasing it. It doesn't change anything. I'm just if enough people say they like it outside of you, then maybe I'll consider it. But yeah,
no,
man,
that's dope. That's dope. No, I would, yeah, I would love to hear that for sure. So, question number 8. So, when you get up on any type of stage to perform, do you do anything for yourself to get yourself in a good headspace, to get yourself like ready to perform? So, like when it comes to me, like I don't do it all the time.
uh,
But like I meditate before I perform. It helps me out to kind of just like give me like some type of balance. So like just to balance my mind basically. So like, do you do anything for yourself?
Um, it's funny. I actually my vocal coach, Lonnie, right? She
Yes.
I actually because I'm a sentimental mess. So I remember everything. So before I perform, whether it's on stage or I'm pre-performing and I'm getting ready backstage, I actually sit down because we do all of our lessons via Zoom. So I actually close my eyes and I can hear her voice. She's like, "Okay, let's make sure you body scan. Let's get in touch with the center yourself. Get in touch with yourself." And I literally close my eyes and I do all like everything we do to begin our lesson.
Mm,
And back straight, everything. And I can literally hear her voice telling me to do all these things. And I make sure massage. Like I do a lot of like vocal stuff, like massaging my cheekbones, uh, tongue tension, just really to get your body in motion to really perform because your
yeah.
body does have to you're not even just your voice, your whole body, she told me that your whole body has to be willing to perform and ready to perform. So from technical standpoints, yeah, I literally refer back to my voice lessons. Lonnie has been a blessing. It's crazy. But in terms of everything outside of that, I do I kind of just I do I I try to come off as a very calm, go with the flow person, but when
Yeah.
it comes down to performing, in my head, I'm like, I've done this 1,000 times. Like I've done this before. So there's no nervousness. It's really just I want everybody to hear that's hearing me to enjoy it. You're doing
Yeah.
this for yourself, but most importantly, you're doing it for them. You're at the end of the day, you're an entertainer. They came
Yeah.
to be entertained. So if they came to be entertained, then entertain them. So that's really the mindset I go into. But really, it really is the first thing I do immediately is a full body scan, and Lonnie is like in my head all the time. Like just it's so funny how that worked out. But yeah, that's how I kind of get into the zone of me singing and
Hmm.
playing and stuff. So
I like
and
that.
even while I'm singing, if I feel like I'm not enunciating correct, I could hear her. It's like, oh, you're zombie singing, meaning I'm not putting a lot of emotion into it.
So
So
she's like,
yeah, it really is. I check myself mid performance, and I'm just like,
okay.
oh, gotta fix that. And yeah, it's fun.
So she's like a some like whenever you feel like I don't want to use the word tense, but I'm just gonna use it just because I can't think of any other word. But when you feel tense before you perform, like she's kind of like a conscience in your head
It's a
to
it's
like
a
to
yeah.
help you get balanced out, before you get up onto the stage.
Yeah, she's definitely a calming factor. So it's interesting that she's like because she's my first ever vocal coach. I've never been taught anything, never been taught anything. So
Yeah.
she's actually the first person and also I reached out to her to be like, listen, I've been doing this by myself for years. Definitely need some assistance. So I think having that means a lot to me to just have a point of reference because she believes in me a lot, and
Yeah.
and having that means so much to me. So before I perform, I'm just like, all right, Lonnie, and I just remember everything she tells me, and then it is calming. And then I go out and I perform, and I usually tell her if I did good or bad. But yeah, it works out well.
Nah, shout out to Lonnie, man. Nah, she's an amazing friend.
She got some music on the way.
Nah,
Granted, she's had
facts.
music on the way for years, but I think she actually
Nah, like
she has some
it's
music.
something. It's something special is gonna be coming with her music for sure. Nah,
Absolutely.
nah, she's a cool person. She's a really cool person.
Mhm.
Because so did that is that how you met her, like through that phase, or like did you know her beforehand?
I met her. Yeah, I met her through a mutual friend, and
Gotcha.
yeah, we met at a barbecue. And my friend told me that she did music, and
Ah,
then I found her on Twitter because I think she retweeted Lonnie, and I found her on Twitter, and under her her bio it said that she teaches music.
mm.
I was like, shoot, I need a vocal coach, and then I literally I was kind of annoying with it. I followed her on Instagram. I was like, listen, I need a vocal, I need a vocal coach. Please. I wasn't begging, but I was like, yeah, I've been singing for a little bit. I need this to progress, as a musician. And she happily had me via Zoom and stuff. So that's how we met. We met through a mutual, and then we became friends through lessons and stuff.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah.
That's cool. No, that's beautiful. No, yeah. No, like I said, she's a really cool person. Yeah. I've known her since like through church. We went to the same church back in Rochester. And when I used to worship, I believe she worshiped on stage
Oh,
like a couple times as well. And then because she was always like in and out in the city, like she was always in Rochester, then back to New York. and
Yeah.
then back and forth. So her voice is incredible. You know, her
The,
voice is
the
incredible.
funny thing about her voice is it was like after the first three lessons, I asked her, I was like, Lonnie, can you sing? I never heard her sing. Never heard that. Like after the first three lessons, I've never heard that girl sing outside of the warm ups, you know. And I've never heard. I didn't hear her sing probably until like a month after our lessons, which was so funny. And now she's probably one of my favorite singers. Like probably is my favorite singer. Like she's really built. She's built like that. But yeah,
Wow.
she's great. It's so funny.
That's so cool. That's so cool. The last question that I had, basically, and I like to ask this question also with everybody that I interview. And I feel like to me, this is a certain type of question that is always good to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Like, I guess if you want to schedule out, maybe once a month, if you want to ask yourself that question. So basically, like, if you could say one thing to your younger self, to younger current, you know,
Yeah.
current in the past, like what would what would that message be?
um I became the musician I always wanted to be. And I think that's such an underrated statement. And it didn't hit me till like think I performed in Brooklyn with that's when I met you. It didn't hit me until I was driving home where I was just like I became the musician I wanted to be in terms
Mm,
of like back then I always thought I was so limited and I couldn't sing well. I wasn't that good of a singer. I promise you, like my my origin story is crazy. I was not that great, but even now I'm still getting better. I'm all right. But what I tell my younger self is just to keep trying because I had a lot of like I've had a lot of auditions where I didn't make the final cut. I tried out for my first college, like just a cappella group, didn't make it. Tried out for the talent show, didn't make it. I tried out for a talent show in my high school, didn't make it. Even in my second college, I tried out for a festival, didn't make it. Like, and there's a lot of things that like I just did not make the cut for. And me as a musician, you always compare yourself to your contemporaries. And I was just like, dang, I'm not as good as him. I'm not as good a singer as him. I'm not as good as piano player as her. And the fact that I try both makes me a little special, but I'm like, dang, I'm still not as good, you know?
yeah,
But I recently just heard this a couple weeks ago to just keep doing me in terms of my sound. And that's what I probably tell my past self to just keep it going because it eventually you'll get there. And it wasn't an easy road. I remember I was going to my first college, Suffolk, and I stopped going there because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my future. But
yeah,
I didn't have a keyboard to practice with, so I would still take a bus. I would take a bus to go to the college and use their keyboards that they had there to practice. And
okay,
thank God for the lady that ran the practice rooms because if you didn't have a piano class, you weren't allowed in the practice rooms. I wasn't going to school at all. So, and she knew that because I think I did like a fake signature for like my professor's name. And then
yeah,
she noticed it. And I told her, I'm like, listen, I just want to praise the practice. I don't have a keyboard. And she let me use it the whole semester. And that's when I really
mm,
got harked in on like learning how to play in each key correctly and singing correctly. And that year of grinding took me to where I am now and always just working on it. But yeah, it's just what I tell my past self is just really just to keep it going. You know, I have a lot of support now. I have it open
yeah,
doors for me to perform in many different places, and because I have a very not aggressive personality, and I don't try to come off as like bragging or someone that's so talented. I'm just here trying to do my best.
yeah,
And I think carrying yourself like that almost comes off as passive where people don't necessarily take you seriously or you don't look as aggressive enough to get what you want. So,
right,
especially when you're younger, when you're too shy to say, "Hey, I want to perform. Hey, I want to do this." It's kind of it people kind of just overlook you. So, if I was to talk to my younger self, he's like, "Yeah, you got to just keep practicing and eventually you become what you're meant to be, but you just got to, keep it going. Keep getting your heart broken. It's great material. It's great material
facts.
for songs, embrace all the emotions because I think that's what I did great. I embraced every emotion I felt, and now here I am years later expressing them. So yeah, I just tell my younger self to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah. It's a I was having like a convo about this with a family member because she also does music as well,
Yeah,
where it's just like it's a really tough thing just being an artist in general.
it is.
When it's just like it's not even just like a musician, like per se. Like it's just anybody that's trying to just really go after what they love doing
Yeah.
as a full-time thing, and not, and as to make it as like a as to like a for sure goal to actually reach. And sometimes like we have to go through the most biggest like BS in order to get to where we want to get. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just like sometimes we got to go through rejection after rejection to get where we are as well. Sometimes we got to go through like mental shit, like
And a
like
lot of people don't see that, especially if you're
yeah,
doing that. It's like, oh my gosh, he's so great, but then like, nah, I was I was way worse. And it
yeah,
takes a lot for me to it take I tell people all the time, it takes a lot for someone to go on stage and just sing. Like it takes a
yeah.
lot. And now we're just kind of just comfortable with that. We just do it. But like there was a moment where like we were just like, nah, this is
It's because we never really like.
uh,
I mean, it depends on the human being, but like we never expected that. Like
mm,
like us, we'll be doing these things, but now
yeah,
we're doing these things. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's just like we basically like we don't really expect the unexpected to happen because it's just like it's unexpected. So it's just like, and then when it does happen, it's like what the fuck? Like everything is just moving kind of so rapidly, but yet we're like also everything is moving kind of in a steady steady manner, like pace, like right on time. And like when I was talking to her, because she was like thinking like, man, like nothing's happening, like nothing's moving, like it's like because she's releasing music and she's like doing the same kind of thing, and like and she doesn't see as much progression. But like if she keep like, because it's like as we keep going and keep continuing to grow within ourselves and with like this music shit, who
yeah.
knows like how 10 years can be, you know what I'm saying? Who knows how 15 years can be, you
Mm.
know? So it's just like, because it's just like and that's the thing. And like a lot of, I'm not gonna say any names, but like a good amount of people like to skip the process, skip the
Legit.
journey.
I see that
And
so much now. It's crazy.
yeah, and it's just like I feel like we have to go through that in order to just grow grow wiser as a human being, and
Absolutely.
understand like
Mm.
the understand like why we have to go through it. Like it like we have to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to like deal with like these rejections, but I have to go through these rejections so I can get the wins,
Absolutely.
so I can get accepted at this place, at that place, and then the next place. And, I
Absolutely.
don't want to go through heartbreak, but I have to be depressed for a while so I can make a dope ass,
And it
song.
keep you grounded because there's even people like I perform in front of and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing," and I'm just like, I genuinely thank them, but I don't think I'm all that. Like I genuinely don't, and I think that it comes from those places of those rejections and me knowing my process. So
Yeah.
it really does ground you because I'm just like I'm just a kid from Ridge. Like I'm not even
Yeah.
I'm not anything special, and I'm just doing my best, you know. So like
Yeah.
it really does ground you to that because you weren't always up here or wherever level you're at. Like it took a while to get there.
Yeah. That was amazing. That was a really cool
Fun.
podcast, man. Nah, thank you, bro, for real.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Nah, of course, man. Of course. Sheesh, man. Is there anything else that you would like to deliver to us? Oh yeah. Well, before I before you deliver anything to us, I will put your like social media stuff below you in your side of the video so people can follow your work. People can just, just support you in general. You like, I know you have Instagram, and you said you have a Twitter. You also, do you have any other platforms that I can put on under? Or?
Stay away from my Twitter.
All right, bet. So just a
Nah,
gram.
Twitter's fine. Yeah, Twitter, and Instagram is all I have right now. So
All right, bet. I'll put since you're out on all platforms, I'm gonna put that under as well, just to show support, because I feel like that's the main thing
absolutely,
to do when it comes to like networking, is just to keep that connection going.
thank you.
My fault. Keep that connection growing and going, and also just to keep it consistent as well, and just support, bro. Because I feel like that's one of the main things that a lot of people like that kind of do, but like don't do it as often, is just to support one
Yeah,
artist to another. And I feel like the only way we can be able to live our dreams is just to actually support, So
absolutely.
I feel like if I can be able to do this with this episode, then I think I did my job. So but yeah, before I close this off, is there anything else you would like to deliver to us before I end this episode?
If you ever hear any rumors that I'm releasing an album, I'm not. So absolutely not. Right now I'm on my like little hiatus of music. Whenever I release something, I take a like 2 weeks break. Not even joking. Like I really respect my resting.
Yeah.
But I have anything else to say? The key thing is with making music, if there's any musicians listening, it's so cliched, but nah, just be yourself. Like, and I know there's other people releasing music that probably you want to release, and there's other, especially contemporaries, making music that like that sounds good. And there are some songs I've heard from contemporaries, and I'm like, I could have made a song like that. Like, I could have definitely made a song like that, and this is fire. Not like from like a hating perspective, from like a beat perspective. Like, I could have did that. Like, dang it, I'm tight, I didn't do it. But nah, just be true to yourself, and stick within your own self and make the music you want to make. Someone's gonna like it, legit. So people go through things, people go through more things than you think they do, and they relate to you more than you think they would. And I know that personally because a lot of the music I make is personal experience, and I had no clue people relate to it. So yeah, just be true to yourself, as cliched as that sounds.
Man,
Mm.
I love that. I love that. No, that's what we need to hear. It's just don't be afraid to be you, man. Just be who you are, and then you'll go far. You'll go
Legit.
really far. And
Thank
his album will be out by the end of the year. He just
I'll
doesn't want to
leave
say
right now. I will
it.
leave, but don't do that.
Awesome. So, but with that being said, this is Above the Sky, season 4, episode 6. And thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day just to watch this podcast. For anyone that's gonna stick by all the way towards the end, thank you. Like and subscribe. And I believe that's everything. I usually say more, but I can't think of anything more. So spread love, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.